The Roccat Leadr is a wireless version of the Roccat Tyon, but the Tyon had a laser sensor that really let it down. The Leadr has a top optical sensor with the OWL eye, Roccat's version of the 3360, the 3361. So while I'd say it's an MMO mouse, it could be used in first-person shooters too, if you like big heavy mice anyway. This weighs in at about 129 grams, so for most people it won't be for competitive FPS. It should be fine for casual play though, and the weight distribution feels fairly balanced too. People still worry about wireless mice having delay, but if there is any, it's not noticeable, in-game or out. It feels like a wired mouse. I would say put that fear to rest. It does need recharging though, and it comes with this docking station. The battery is meant to last 20 hours, and the indicator is on the bottom left, but you can also use it in wired mode, and that charges it too. Here's a quick tour of the design so you know what it looks like. The top is rounded and comfortable, and on the left there's a thumb groove, and a slight thumb rest. From the back you can see how it slopes toward the right a bit. And on the right it has good subtle curves for grip and comfort. The slight ledge makes it easy to pick up, and on the base there are 4 good quality mouse feet. The design is really similar to the Cone EMP, as you can see from the base, side, top, and other side. Obviously, the buttons are very different on the Leadr. There are the 4 extra on top, but because there are no comfort grooves in the buttons, your finger could slip and hit these by accident. There's a paddle on the back, and for the thumb, there's a button at the base, usual mouse 4 and 5, and this paddle should be great for scrolling, as you can just hold it to either side. They all feel quite well placed, although having the thumb button at the base doesn't allow for a lot of room. I'm not sure if this is suited to bigger hands. This mouse actually seems perfect for my hand, but it's too big to aim with, so while it's not perfect, I do prefer this design to the usual MMO mouse that has all the buttons on the side, and this line you see going around the base, it's lit up on the Tyon, but now it's just metal, which is a bit of a shame. The button slope is gradual, and the hump slightly toward the back, so it should work for all grip styles, but most likely palm and claw. Here it is next to the Zowie FK2 and Logitech G403, so you can see the general size of it. For measurements, the grip width is hard to measure, but it's about 6.4 centimeters. The length is about 12.8, and the height seems to be the usual 4. For hand size, because it's an MMO mouse that I don't think you'd need to aim, I'd say for palm grip, it'd best suit hands between 17 and 19 centimeters. Any bigger and you might have problems with accidental clicks. For claw grip, maybe 17 to 21. And fingertip, above 19. Moving on to the buttons, here's a listen to each. Left and right feel like they need a bit of extra force to press them in, and they have a distinct snap, which might be good for bigger fingers. Mouse 3 is actually lighter than many others. It's fairly easy to press in, and the wheel has a slight rattle going up. It's not so bad going down. The steps are noticeable and it's still smooth, but it's not quite the quality of the previous generation of Roccat mice. Still very good, just not quite there. It seems to have weakened the wheel a little. The side buttons are a bit odd, but they work, and I can reach both easily. Just mouse 5 is a bit tight compared to mouse 4. The thumb button feels light and is well positioned. This paddle feels really good, very smooth and a great addition to the mouse. The top paddle has a satisfying click, and for me it's tight enough to avoid accidental clicks. The top buttons are very plasticky, but they're good except for the potential slips. So I think all the buttons are really good, except the scroll isn't as good as the last. Mouse 5 isn't consistent with mouse 4, and I've had a few accidental clicks on the top left buttons, but I could use multiple buttons together. In the latency testing, they seem quite close to the G403, but maybe with a bit of a delay. Nothing I would worry about, so I would say the buttons are really good. Now testing the 3361 optical sensor. Just rocket jumping around, it feels good, although the mouse weight and shape don't make it easy. Testing if I can make it spin out. Without the firmware update, it does, so make sure you update the firmware. After the update, I can't make it spin out at all, even using the tilt slam test, so that's pretty much perfect. Zooming in for the sniper test, it tracks pixel by pixel and it does it smoothly. That's tested at 1600 and 400 dpi. Checking for acceleration, it seems like there isn't any, so that's all good. The liftoff distance set to low is about 1 DVD on hard and cloth pads, and just over 1 DVD set to high. It's a wireless mouse, so checking it against the G403, I can't feel any delay. It was good in game too. I would say wireless mice are now capable of competing with wired mice. It's just the battery and other features that weigh them down a bit too much. and testing the 360, it's about the same as the G403, so that's all good as well. In the line test there's no jitter, angle snapping or skipping, although the lift-off movement isn't the greatest. It's still very good though, and there's no lens rattle. That's a solid performance as usual from this kind of sensor. When tapping and shaking it, there's just a slight rattle on the scroll wheel, otherwise it's well built with high quality plastics, smooth on top, textured on the sides, and the cable is braided and about 1.8 meters long. In the software we can alter the DPI between 100 and 12,000 in steps of 100. You can set 5 of them for each profile, and it has onboard memory. The button assignment comes with a lot of options, and because it has Easy Shift, you can essentially double the amount of buttons it has. By default, Easy Shift is set to the bottom thumb button, but the problem with that is you can't use the thumb buttons with it, so it might be better to set that to button 9 instead. There are some great options though: macros, basic and advanced functions, internet and multimedia. You can record your own macros, but mouse events have to be added manually. In advanced you can set the lift-off distance, but again there's a problem with the Roccat lighting. The color flow is not smooth, as seen here. I guess it's not too bad on this mouse because it's wireless. You will probably want to turn it off to save battery anyway. Now here are some highlights while I give my conclusion. It isn't too bad if you like big mice that are fairly heavy. The shape is quite comfortable, but with the amount of extra buttons on this, I would say it's for MMOs and maybe MOBAs. All the commands available on the mouse could be a good advantage to have. I like the build, it feels like a high quality mouse, even though it's not perfect. And because it's wireless, you could use it from your bed or in front of the TV too. So for MMOs, this would be my top pick. For comfort, button arrangement and wireless, plus Roccat quality, top sensor and software. So it's a great mouse, not for me as I play Quake, but I still highly recommend it, if this is your kind of mouse. Hope that helps. Big thanks to Roccat for sending this out for review, and if you want to help support the channel, I'll leave the usual links in the description. As always, subscribe, like and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next.